Hello, everyone.
Hello. So I can see Hans. We all can see Hans. Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
Perfect. And thank you for joining just in time, sharply at your time slot.
sorry for
So
the delay.
no, you did not have any delay, so just in time.
Okay,
I'm so dear colleagues, I'm pleased to introduce Hans Clive Vidal, certified PMP, magister in MBA at the University of Isan, earned a mechanical engineering degree at National University of Trujillo, both in Peru. He has 26 years of professional experience, extensive background in planning, budgeting, engineering, feasibility analysis, and execution of projects and new businesses development in the oil and gas, natural gas, CNG, LNG, and LPG sectors. Currently serves as a deputy manager of engineering and projects at AVA Group in Peru, one of the biggest oil and gas wholesaler in Peru. So today, Hans is going to present within the pillar of risk management. So the risk management actually in the emerging LNG markets, a natural gas plant case study in Peru. So this presentation will address the risk management and assessment process carried out prior to the final investment decision stage of a natural gas liquefaction plant project in Peru within the context of an emerging and highly unpredictable market. So the presentation will demonstrate how the risk analysis framework was structured to support strategic pre-investment decision-making process, considering commercial, regulatory, technical, financial, and infrastructure uncertainties, which is typical for still developing energy sector in the country, Peru. Using an approach aligned with the practices outlined in the PMBOK guide, the session will present the methodology used to identify, assess, prioritize critical risk, as well as mitigation strategies proposed to reduce project exposure before execution. So this presentation will also explore how risk management becomes a key enabler for the investment decision-making process in large-scale energy projects operating under conditions of high uncertainty and evolving market dynamics. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Hans Clive Vidal. So Hans, the stage is yours.
okay. Thank you very much for the introduction, Simin. Okay, I appreciate the invitation. I will go right to the presentation. Okay, I'm sharing. Is everything okay? Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about risk management in emerging LNG markets. As we are right now, as company, we are involved in an important project to liquefy natural gas, and of course, in South America, LNG and natural gas has some development, but not entirely. And inside that, LNG is right now just a small um, a small part of the development. So right now we are kind of emerging. We have some production sites, some import sites, export sites, but we are still in an evolving situation. So this case study could be located in Peru, as we are working on that. For this presentation, the main objectives are to present the fundamental project management principles. We are trying to connect this presentation and how I will show to you to connect with the main PMA principles, right? So the second objective would be to identify key project risks, mainly for this natural gas uh, kind of oil and gas sector that we are involved. Demonstrate the use of sensitivity analysis. Right now, we are in a pre-FID situation in the project, so we have made a lot of sensitivity analysis. Is not to scare you, but we are right now in our sixth year of development. There are no fast decision making projects. These are kind of a long decision. So we have made a lot of sensitivity analysis with many tools. The other objective would be the review of the principal pre-FID risk mitigation strategies, right? How to mitigate all the risks we could find. I will list the most important we have gone through. And the final would be to illustrate how effective risk management supports investment decision making, right? Not just as a part of the procedure, like kind of a step-by-step thing, but uh, a very protective thing to do in this kind of projects. Okay, so I will show it to you how to reduce uncertainty because in these emerging LNG markets, or I can suppose that in any emerging market, you have a lot of uncertainty because there are no alike projects, there are no baselines in many cases, so you have to make a lot of risk assessment. So we have this the main objective for this risk management process is to improve investment confidence, right? Because technology already exists around the world. The main facts of how to use the LNG, how to convince our off-takers is already done. That task is already done. But the main thing is to gain the investment confidence that our shareholders, that financing banks, that other kind of third-party investors could have this confidence to go through these projects. Okay. Well, of course, capital allocation decisions enhance project attractiveness to investors and lenders, right? This is crucial in this kind of projects, the investment, the financing. Okay, and of course, increased probability of successful execution due to the huge amount of pre-analysis in this kind of projects. Is very likely to happen that it is a successful project when it starts. There are not many cases of unsuccessful projects like this when you do the right risk management. Um, I can tell you that in South America we have probably 3 or 4 cases that where this kind of risk management process was not very good done. Probably they didn't take so much time. And right now there are closed LNG plants in South America, just because of this, or they are operating, but partially operating. Okay, so the key message here is the risk management must be understood uh, not just to eliminate uncertainty, but to understand sufficiently to make informed investment decisions, right? Because the final decision is very linked to the risk management process. Okay, so we are going to get into context. This is a map for those who don't know Peru very well. Actually, Peru is, I think, is among the 20 biggest countries in the world. No, we have a lot of area. There is a small, and let me take this. Okay, so this is South America, and the dark countries is Peru. And these around here are all the land, all the pieces of land that have been consents to some companies, oil and gas companies, to make first to make exploration and then to make production of oil or natural gas. Okay. So as you can see here, we are very probably to have a lot of resources around Peru. So, as we have natural gas, Camisea Basin, which is located around here, that is near the mountain, but in the Amazon forest mainly. So, in this Camisea Basin, right now is the biggest natural gas resource in Peru. Okay, and actually, most LNG, probably 99% of LNG right now produced in Peru comes from this basin. And we have started natural gas use in Peru uh, 22 years ago, right in this century. So we are kind of young in the natural gas use, talking globally. And it has made a lot of change in our society. As you can see, power generation right now half of our power generation is held by natural gas. Also, industrial companies, many factories, many producers have been have found in natural gas a very good resource, a very good way to get more profit. And of course, population. Right now, maybe I can remember, but probably 2 million houses are right now fed by natural gas. Okay, so we have a lot of resource, and LNG has started later, of course. Probably LNG, our huge plant for liquefaction that is located around here near Lima. It has started 18 years ago, probably, more or less. Okay, so what we got here is what we are right now producing, because the last presentation was our reserves, all we have to explore, or we have to make it come into production. But this picture can show you where the natural gas production right now is located. And you can see around here are the huge pieces that can give us the most natural gas. This is a kind of a chart that is that the figures are in trillion cubic feet per day, trillion cubic feet, which is a measure to think of how much reserve do you have for natural gas. So the main part here is around Cusco. If you've heard of Machu Picchu, Machu Picchu is very close to this main oil and gas wells. And here is one thing that I want to show you. If you can see, this is the main pipeline, because from here, that is in the mountain, they constructed a huge pipeline to go through the coast, because most people and most industrial companies are in the coast of Peru. So as you can see, our geography is very hard to build this kind of facilities. Okay, you find high mountains, you find cold weather, very rainy weather. So this is how you can manage to build a pipeline in Peru. So this is why LNG is very important, because you cannot build pipelines through all Peru, because it's very costly, it's very inefficient in some parts. So you have to take the natural gas and transport in other ways that is not by pipeline. So this is where LNG comes right now. LNG is taking the natural gas is a good way of delivery of natural gas for many regions in Peru. Later we'll see a picture of that too. So first it started with CNG, that is compressed natural gas, that's another way to make the natural gas easy to transport. But right now we are trying to focus on LNG. Is another way to transport the natural gas from the oil wells, from the gas wells to the main population where you cannot build a pipeline because as you can see is not so easy. Maybe in the north we have, as we are near the coast, you find a better weather to work with. It's dry weather, of course it's sunny, but it's very workable, so it's better for this kind of projects. But a lot of resources are here that is far from the consumption centers. Okay, so this is in the last probably 10 years. This is the way that natural gas has been growing as consumption in Peru. This is measured in million standard cubic feet per day. So as you can see, right now we are increasing, but here is a little flat. But the expectation is to use more natural gas, and it has been stabilized because we don't have more pipelines to transport the natural gas. So we are trying to use technologies like LNG to do that. Okay, so what are the characteristics of Peruvian LNG market? Okay, so uh, our focus to or our scope to use the LNG mainly right now is to replace diesel or gasoline use, of course, in vehicles, mainly in trucks. So this is how diesel is used in Peru in the last years. And as you can see, natural gas, which is the yellow sector in this chart, so it has been increasing in the last 20 years. And right now, natural gas is a very energy source. It's a very important energy source right now. The remaining here, that is in dark blue, is diesel or oil. Okay, in many shapes. And as you can see, the light blue area here is hydroelectric energy is produced by the force of water. Okay, so what can I tell you about the LNG market? We have a evolving regulatory framework. As I told you, we are using the natural gas right in this century, so we don't have many things done. We are kind of evolving every year. Every year, the regulation, the standards are being modified, trying to adapt to the new use of natural gas. So we have an evolving regulatory framework in this case. This is kind of a risk because sometimes you can find authorities that must give you permits that are not very aware of the use of natural gas, are not very aware of the technology that you are going to use. So this is a very hard risk because in Peru these kind of energy projects are very well supervised, and if you don't have the permit, you are not allowed to work. And so we consider it a very important risk. Okay, then you have a limited domestic LNG infrastructure. Right now, here is only one LNG liquefaction plant, but it's mainly for export. For domestic use, this huge plant has only two truck loading facilities. So it can, I guess it's around 30 trucks, 30 trailer trucks per day you can fill there. So is domestically is limited right now, this infrastructure. And certain future gas demand, okay, as you can see, natural gas demand has had a very huge growth because it came here to the coast, mainly to the Lima province, and here are most companies, more industries are here. So there is not so much big places to as off takers here in Peru. It's very disconnected, so it's very hard to grow a pipeline to all these places, to all these points, as I told you. So there's a kind of uncertain for future gas demand because of this. The demand exists, but there are people that think that probably natural gas is not the best way. Probably they must use another way to 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 use the energy. Okay, so we have also political and social volatility. I don't know how much of the news from Peru you heard, but in the last years we had many presidents, right? Then I will show you a chart of that too. Um, and socially, people is always there's a lot of unsatisfaction in many sectors in our population. So sometimes this kind of projects uh, becomes a kind of a social issue. Okay, so this is a risk also for us. We have also infrastructure bottlenecks because, for example, for our project, we only found two sources of natural gas here in Peru that fits with our project. So if we can't close a deal with these two stakeholders, so probably we cannot do the project. So it's kind of there is a bottleneck in this. We have also exposure for price volatility, right? As we have um, right now, our government regulation kind of fixes the prices. Uh, but as we have a lot of gas that is being exported, so we also base our price with the index in USA. So there is kind of volatility, and also the currency because we have all these businesses are made in US dollars, but we use another currency that is the soles. So sometimes we have also that the exchange rate risk. And also this cycle is very long, right? For this kind of project, for LNG projects, after you start, probably you can take 2 or 3 years to start developing these kind of projects. Okay. So as I told you, risk management becomes a strategic decision support process rather than a project control activity. So in some projects, you take risk management as a part of a process that that you must do, so you must write something and then maybe you can forget about that. In LNG projects, you cannot do that. Risk management is very, very important. Also, I told you about some project management, some PMBOK principles. I'm going to talk to you about some of them. Stewardship, of course, is we are protecting the shareholder capital through informed decisions. All this risk management assessment is to protect the capital of shareholders, but is also directed to the community benefit, not just the company. And very important for this kind of project is the systems thinking. We cannot think of this sector, of this market. We cannot think of a separated being. It's not kind of a Lego or kind of bricks that you can put together. It's not just like that. It's more like a living being, right? That are like a organic being that you must not just consider separately, but as a huge, as a whole being, as a whole thing. So in this system thinking, it's very important for us, stakeholders, infrastructure, technology, of course, market, financing, and regulatory environment. We're going to talk about all of this. So another principle of project management that we use a lot is stakeholders engagement, because if we don't have it, uh, we could fail in this kind of projects. So we have these are the government institutions, banking, and of course the off-takers. I told you about our presidents. Here is what happened in the last almost 30 years. As you can see, this is the last of terms of presidential terms, and it has become shorter each time. And in the last years, it has become even shorter. So this creates an uncertainty. This creates volatility in the government decisions. And these kind of projects, of course, are energy important. So uh, government is very important for us, and its volatility is a risk for us. But we have to adaptability and resilience as principles we use a lot in this kind of projects. Also, the value focus, we must give value to people, to the country, right? Not just company value. And this is this is a map of what provinces here in Peru are using natural gas right now with different companies. Okay, so what we did for risk identification is, for example, expert workshops. We did a lot of meetings. As I told you, we are right now 6 years um, uh, of analysis for this project. We made a pestle analysis, which is political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental, with all the main facts here that is characteristic for our market. We made also a quantitative risk assessment. Okay, you must use numbers for this assessment. It's not only quality but also quantitative. So we made a lot of scenarios. You must develop multiple futures for this kind of projects. What happens if the demand increases? What happens if the demand decreases? What happens with the evolution market? What happens if other kind of energy like hydrogen, for example, comes here? So you must be aware of all these kind of scenarios, and you must do the numbers for each one. Of course, you must do sensitivity analysis. We have made not thousands, hundreds of Excel charts, hundreds of Excel.
Okay, so it seems, Hans, we can no longer hear you. At least I
yeah,
cannot.
yeah, me neither. So I'm just checking with him. Maybe he should just reconnect.
I think, but Hans can also not hear us.
Yeah, and
Also made a lot of research.
oh, Okay.
Okay, so Hans,
We
just for your information, we could not hear you for the last seconds.
Okay.
30 seconds, so maybe, yeah,
Sorry.
2 slides back.
Okay. So from this one or this one?
So yeah, I guess we lost you here. One slide earlier.
Okay. So as I told you, these are what actions we took as mitigate the risks. First, we made some commercial preliminary off-taker agreements to lower the risk of the demand. So also we had a lot of meetings, kind of official, formal meetings with authorities to make sure that all the permits, all the to complete all the gas supply contracts. Also, technically, we already have the builder, the manufacturer for the plant. We have made already a pre-FEED with them. Financially, we have made a lot of research and meetings with banks with huge, important financing funds for this project. And what delivers the risk management to us? For our project, we have coming to better capital allocation, okay, which is of course a high risk. We have made a huge confidence work with investors, with our own shareholders and third-party investors. We have already been capable to finance the project. There are not one, but many banking companies that are interested in the project. Of course, the economics, all our predictions are more robust, and we have reduced execution surprises. Okay, as you made a lot of risk management assessment, you can lower this kind of hidden things, right? Hidden problems that could happen in the future.
Hans,
And all,
we are just running out of time. So if you
uh,
still need 5 or 2 minutes, it's okay. But I think
yeah.
we need to wrap up.
Okay. It's okay. I'm just finishing. So we are very close. We have not made the FID right now, which is the final investment decision. We are not right here, but we are probably in the next 2 or 3 months going to do that. We already have made all the previous work, which I have kind of showed you. Um, so our final conclusion is that for this kind of projects, huge important energy projects in emerging markets, risk management is not simply a project management process. We cannot take it as a simple process, separate process. It's a strategic investment discipline. It helps us to decrease the uncertainty in these projects. Okay, of course, this is the way we have done. And this is what I can tell you in these minutes. I'm not sure if, well, these are some sources, if there is some time for Q&A, if you want, or you must pop up to the next presentation. But I'm very thankful to PMI that have given me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Hans. Should we have one question to conclude, or we need to jump to another speaker?
Yeah, let's see. I think if a question comes up, let's do it. So we have a bit flexibility that maybe the panel discussion then starts 2-3 minutes later, but not more than this. It seems people are overwhelmed by this full insightful content. Thanks so much, Hans.
Thank you,
Okay.
Hans.
You
Oh,
too.
there is a question. Look.
Okay.
Simon, you want to take over?
Yes. What kind of techniques are implemented to evaluate risk, and how evaluate emerging risks?
Okay. So I show you some previous. We have made a lot of expert workshops is very important for us. We have invested, as company, we have invested a lot of money in consultancy, in legal issues, in technical issues, and not only with Peruvian companies, but mainly European and USA companies that have this experience. So expert workshops is very important, has been, and consultancy was very important for us. Personal analysis also, this kind of analysis was also, here is a kind of a small chart, but we have paid two big consultancies from Peruvian consultancy, market consultancy companies, very important, and also one economic postgrad school also that made us a study. These kind of scenarios, we have done we have not used a software. In this case, we have used only Excel, some IA also, but of course, when we start our project, we will use some software for the main decisions. This is kind of the best. The main things we have done until now are sensitivity analysis with many kind of charts. Yeah, that's it. That's what we have used most. And what else did you say? How to evaluate emerging risks? You must understand the market. You must rely on experienced people. We have, as I told you, we have invested a lot of money to learn from the technical part. Even financing, the financing is kind of, for this kind of project, you must learn how the market, how the investors read your project. So we have made a lot of learning. So rely on experts for this kind of project is very important.
Thank you, Hans. So we learned that everything is possible in Peru in the LNG market. Thank you for your insightful presentation. So we have to jump to another topic and pass the stage to Alex.
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Hans, for sharing this. And thanks also for the patience.